Hello everyone and welcome to Zest with me, Shel Marie, the podcast that'll take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion whilst finding your peace. Today is a very special milestone because it marks Zest podcast 100th episode, and I can't think of anyone more fitting to celebrate this moment with than Vanessa Cardenas. Vanessa, if you haven't seen her previous episode, I would highly recommend it. It's got over 2,300 likes and comments already, so please go look at that. But to go back to her, she is a relationship reset expert and the founder of Understanding Ear, whose life work is dedicated to helping individuals and couples rebuild trust, navigate emotional pain, which I'm sure we'll talk about a lot, and create deeper, authentic connections. Her journey is nothing short of inspiring. She rebuilt her own marriage after betrayal and turned that personal pain into a mission that has literally, truly touched hundreds and thousands of lives, from her award-winning coaching to her Oxford talk, which I would recommend to go and watch, reaching over 300k viewers and counting. Wow. Her work is truly grounded in compassion, storytelling, and practical tools, showing us that healing begins with one brave step inward at a time. So today's episode, I'm sure we're going to explore the tiny moments that shape a relationship, the small, often overlooked moments that break connection and bring love back to life. We'll also dive into emotional resets, micro actions that create trust, and Vanessa's 100, we've got the theme of 100 going on today, 100-second reset rule, which can literally transform how we respond in relationships. Prepare to be moved, inspired, challenged, and to see a connection in a whole new way. If you feel called, I invite you to share some love today by subscribing. It costs absolutely nothing, yet amplifies these powerful voices like Vanessa's and touches more hearts. So, anyway, enough about me talking. Let's introduce our incredible guest. Welcome to our 100th episode. Welcome, Vanessa.
Woo! I am so honored to be here. It was so humbling for me to be invited the first time and now to be invited the second time, and for your milestone. Amazing what you have done with this podcast in such a short period of time. Didn't you start it in April of 2025? Yeah, we're at the beginning of January 2026. Not to date, but I think that's 8 months that you have put your heart and your soul into this. You've had some amazing guests. You've had amazing conversations. You have created that ripple, which now I would say is more like a wave of just an abundance of wisdom that you have shared to the community that grows day by day. I mean, your subscriptions continue to grow. And we always have to remind people to subscribe because people lose sight of that. They think, I'll see them again. No, you won't. With the algorithm and the way it gets really picky, you might not see somebody again. So that's why it's so important that when you see somebody that just speaks to you like you do, like your guests do, it takes a moment to hit that subscribe button so that you can see it again. You can always unsubscribe if you feel like, it's too much or whatever. Not that you would on this podcast. But, you have that option to be able to do that. But if you don't subscribe, you miss it altogether. And you lose out. Why would you want to lose out? Hit the subscribe button. Easy enough, and you can unsubscribe at any time. You have no idea how many subscriptions I have. I subscribe to everything that I absolutely adore, because that's what this is all about, is getting those 100 little pieces of wisdom that we take this and we take that and we take this and, ooh, I like that. And that becomes the tapestry of who we are. Why would you miss out on that? So kudos to you for all that you have done to create an amazing community, especially on LinkedIn, of all places. Usually these communities are crafted in, Facebook and maybe Instagram and Telegram and all the others, and now, of course, school and whatnot. But you're creating a really smart, intelligent community on LinkedIn. So I'm ridiculously proud of you. And not for nothing, I kind of knew it. When JP Horgan brought us together for this summit that we did together, I knew at that moment, this woman's got something. She absolutely has something. And you took off. You just absolutely took off. So kudos to you.
And right back at you. You're flying. Anyway, I'm sure people listening, this is going to be an appreciation. And yes, we are. We are two women supporting and appreciating other women. Not just women, everybody, but really, if you go, and that's the thing, we shouldn't just be, just my podcast. This woman is all over so many incredible podcasts, and I would recommend you to go and watch them, because you will see, if you have not heard her other episode, but I'm sure you have, because there were so many people that watched it, this incredible person doesn't only have a way with words, but she has a way of dropping them that just goes straight to, if you want to call it, your heart, your soul, and you will see that in this episode. So with that in mind, I hope you don't mind, you shared something with me. And I would like to read it out, and then I would love you to expand on it, because I love your way with the words. And what you shared with me was, relationships don't fall apart in big explosions, even though I know you did have a big explosion. They fray in a hundred tiny places. And the beautiful thing is, they reconnect in tiny places too. Like, so poetic, so powerful, and also so deep. Would you like to share a little bit about that?
Well, I agree. I agree with what I said and what I wrote to you. Absolutely. Sometimes, it is this catastrophic thing that happens that really knocks us on our tuchus. And sometimes it's a slow burn. And it's just these little micro things, these little itty bitty cuts that happen that we don't tend to. And then suddenly we have this big catastrophic thing. And in my particular case, my husband said 3 words to me. I've met someone. And my whole world shattered. But what it did for me was that it opened up Pandora's box of all of these micro betrayals I had had throughout my entire life. These little itty bitty things that just kept going after me. And it brought up every single insecurity I ever had. And to get back to myself, to reintroduce myself to me, I needed to trust myself. And in trusting myself, those are little micro steps that we take towards what we want. And sometimes it is in those moments, in those pauses. And that's why I have a technique that I want to share with you, is my 100-second pause. Everything that we do in our lifetime is in those moments of clarity, not in those moments of chaos. When we're dysregulated and we're angry and everything's happening all at once, we can't think straight. We make a decision, and usually it's not quite the right one. That's why in the Facebook groups, we talked about you being LinkedIn. I'm more involved in Facebook, but in the Facebook groups that I moderate and I'm the admin for, people share their stories. They become vulnerable. They say what's happening in their relationships. And the commentary from others is, leave. Why don't you just leave? And it's not that simple.
No.
Staying is not simple either.
No.
You're very much at a crossroads.
But I would love, I know there's lots that I have so much that I want to ask you, but just thinking about that in the present moment, I think there is this, I don't want to call it a culture, but something almost developing where people just almost think that the grass is constantly greener and there's so much abundance, so much choice, that I feel like people don't, like, obviously when something really, but you are a prime example of that, let's say that, because you did have something absolutely gut-wrenching happen, yet you are not an advocate, but you know what I'm trying to say, for someone who had, went through it all, of course, and then you still share your moment. And I think it was on the last episode, like, I made a huge assumption, which I should never have done, of I assumed you weren't together anymore, and you were like, no. And I think, if someone can have such a powerful thing happen to them and still kind of have that moment, and I know it wouldn't have been easy, and then still make a decision based on circumstances and outcomes in their own life, because all our life experiences are all different, but I feel like there's this almost like people get together and there's a little tiny crack, like you said, something that surfaces, and I know I'm also to blame for this. I was a queen of self-sabotage. Like any show of commitment, I would run the other direction, but a little crack shows, and then it's almost like, no, I'm not interested in this, next. And I think there's this big thing of next. What do you think about that?
It's very dangerous. It's it's very dangerous. It just is. We have this misconception, and it absolutely is, that, as you said, the grass is greener. There's abundance of opportunity because we have a cell phone that we can just continue to swipe. Yeah, next. But we're doing a disservice to ourselves.
Yeah.
That's who we're hurting in the long run, because we are not learning to have a relationship with ourselves, to trust our own judgment, to trust that, wait a second, this thing happened. Let's talk about it. Let's actually use our words. As parents, we tell our children, use your words, communicate. Well, I would say to adults, use your words, learn how to communicate so that thing that irritated you at that moment, you can resolve. Because there are so many couples that come into my office and they will share a story with me, and I'll hear it from one perspective and I'll hear it from the other perspective. And then there's the middle, which is usually where it lies. And a lot of it has to do with tone, what was said, how it was said, and what was interpreted, what was said, what was heard.
Yes.
Two different things.
Because our mind has already gone to some place, somewhere, and it's our imagination is the most incredible thing, yet also the most worrying thing. And that's the thing, like, how many times, and I know, like, we know as coaches to say, like, sorry, well, not sorry, but did I hear you say? But obviously, if we're doing that in everyday circumstances, like, imagine saying that to certain people in my life, they'd be just like, what are you talking about? But it's true, because what someone says, we interpret so much more about it, and we make this massive, sometimes, story that was never even the story. So I think you're right, and just going back to the little phrase, as you call them, I can understand that completely, because I think also if we just have those moments and we cut people off because there's this cutting off and don't want to speak to them anymore, and how dare you do this to me. But what we don't realize is sometimes years later, or however long, we haven't actually for ourselves had any you know what I'm trying to say, what's the word, oh gosh, it's gone straight out of my brain, but you know where I can't think what the word is, sorry, where you have that, like, I don't know why it's gone straight out of my head. It's not disclosed, it's not I can't think of it right now, but it's where you feel like you've covered all the ground, you know everything, so you are okay. I've given what I can. I've thought about all the different scenarios. I've thought about what's happened. We've spoke about it, and now I've made a clean decision, and I believe that this is the best for me going forward. Whereas if we have that just complete cutting off, the imagination again is a powerful thing, and that often goes into the next relationships. And I see this coming again, because we haven't actually given ourselves that time to almost grieve that relationship.
Absolutely.
And grieve what happened.
Absolutely.
Even in a relationship, you still need to grieve things that happen in the relationship.
Without a doubt. I grieved. I know most betrayed partners grieve. Yeah. Absolutely. But in my particular case, someone very wise said to me, Vanessa, you're going to have a new relationship. You get to choose who that's with. And that was eye-opening for me, because I became a different person. My husband became a different person. So though we are still together, we are not the same as before the betrayal. We have a completely different relationship now. So I do have a new relationship. Just so happens to be with my husband, who is a better man, a better father, and a better husband now, because he did the necessary work to move through the circumstances that led to the betrayal. And that's what you need to do, is you need to have a willingness to go within yourself to discover, okay, why did I do this? And can I articulate to my partner why I did this? Not an excuse, but a circumstance, because you are absolutely right. Without those pieces, our imagination takes over. My imagination had him with a swimsuit model, and a constant exaggeration of the circumstances of what he had done, because I was filling in those holes that I had. And once he was able to start articulating exactly what was going on, and us working with marriage counseling, coaches separately, therapists separately, we could develop language to be able to communicate to each other, to be able to have that clarity in our communication, and that curiosity. There are plenty of times, and we do it in a more humorous way, where we go, take two, try that again. Just try it again, because the way it's landing the first time, it doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. Yeah, no. I need you to say that again, because what I'm hearing, I don't think is what you're saying. So let's try that again. And we've eliminated one very key word in our relationship. And this was a massive one for us, because again, a lot of people communicate with this device, sometimes, especially in relationships. And that word, 4-letter word, starting with F, was fine. When you text the word fine, it is absolutely, sorry about that, off the other phone. The worst word in the English language, especially for texting, is a 4-letter word, begins with an F, fine. My husband and I have stripped that word from texting, because you don't know what it means, because there's no tonality in it. Yeah, you can put it in capital letters, but it could be fine. Fine. you know, you don't know. And
even in capital letters, it would be like,
yeah, is it excitement or is it irritation? You know, and we have to be careful with that.
I think it's bordering. Obviously, it's the we have to think about what the text was first, but I think it's bordering on when someone just sends you this.
That too, absolutely.
And you're
like, would you, and it's logistics wise. We do it all the time, and the device should just be for logistics, not for deep conversations. I know that we like to hide behind a screen.
Absolutely.
We love to hide behind a screen. But use your words. Look up from your device. Pay attention to your partner. And that's, a little 100 ways to solidify your relationship. One of those ways is to acknowledge your partner when they enter a room or they come through the door. It doesn't have to be this grandiose, oh my gosh, you're here. But it's like, hi, how was your day? Something, anything, because the most important thing and what we all want is we want to be seen. We want to be heard correctly. And we just want to feel the emotions from the other person. And we want to be in that moment, in that contextualized moment. I see it a lot with language, especially for the couples that come here. I'll give you a perfect example. My client was sharing what was going on for the week and whatnot. And she described a story where they were both sitting on the couch, and she says, I turned to him and asked him, why doesn't he hug me anymore? I was like, okay, hold on. We need to pause here for a moment. I said, did you say it just like that? And she goes, yeah, I wanted to know why he doesn't hug me anymore. And I said,
that makes someone want to hug you.
Well, it makes somebody defensive.
Exactly. He's not going to want to hug you then. Or he'll grab you like...
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I said, let's try different language. Lean in. Lean into him. You're both sitting on the couch. Lean into him. And if he puts his arm around you, this feels nice. I miss this. That's it. See, that's all you need to say. You get your point across.
Yeah.
You get your point across without making the other person feel defensive. Because that's the worst thing in communication with our partners is when each party gets defensive. And that has a lot to do with how we speak to each other.
Absolutely. You will know this more, but often it isn't actually the hug either that they're having the argument about or something. It's often a lot deeper than that.
But it starts there. So we peel it away. Yes. We peel it away. You want to get a hug? The hug symbolizes, hey, I want to be a little closer to you. I want to feel safe around you. Yeah. Lean into that without it being contentious. And the other words that I stripped from my office, and they know it. There's 3 words that they usually cannot say. Always. He always does this. She never does this.
Absolutes.
The absolutes. Oh boy. And the word but. I love her, but. And I'm like, oh no. Hold on.
Yes.
I love you is one statement. That's it. Period. And then bring up the next thing. Don't add that little 3-letter word. But that is the bone of some amazing arguments that happen between couples, because they interject that word constantly, and they don't realize that even though they're trying to sandwich in what they're upset about, using the word but just completely negates everything else.
I think that's really powerful what you've just said, but just to break that down to say someone who like, I know you were talking in the sense of the coaching role, but I think when we think of just daily interactions with people and friends and family and things like that, I think we need to be really mindful about reactions from other people and advice we're getting, and also the circumstances of their relationships if we're seeking advice in certain areas, not necessarily relationships. Because, for example, you could get like you get someone that's just like makes it like it's nothing important about, so my husband doesn't either me, you get like that response. Or you could get the then really dramatized, like, oh, really, but like what you said, even though I know you're in a coach's role, but that is also something that is embodied into you. And we have friendships like this, we have relationships like this, and there's a very different difference between solution focused and making something a lot more than it needs to be. And yeah, I just think we need to be very careful also who we're sharing things with as well. And yeah, because I think sometimes we want to let it out, but sometimes, usually when that happens, it makes everything so much more. And then imagine, say, your partner in this particular instant, then like kind of knowing that you've gone to everyone else but the person, I think that also adds another layer.
Without a doubt. I coach a lot of women who have been through betrayal, have decided to leave, divorced, and are starting to date. And yeah, that's very challenging, because those first dates, there's a lot of dumping that happens. And, women come into my, he didn't call me back. I don't have a second date. Well, describe the first date. And, when they share it with me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to repeat back to you what you just said, I want you to think about it, kind of thing. And they realize I just dumped all over this poor gentleman, and I shared everything. Sometimes we search out because we need to get that story up and out.
Absolutely.
We search strangers that aren't qualified to hear it, and to help and to allow you that opportunity, that space to be able to share your story so that you can see it for what it is. And one of the techniques that I use is a kaleidoscope. I have several in my office, and it's a kaleidoscope, you look through it and you see a pattern. Well, if you turn it 1 degree, the pattern changes. Still beautiful, usually the same colors, but it's different, just 1 degree. And sometimes that's what we need to do in our own relationships, not only our intimate partner, but work colleagues, everyone else. Is sometimes we need to turn that kaleidoscope just 1 degree to see the situation a little differently, so that we can have a better understanding. A perfect example in the work environment, because I am a C-suite executive, is that we had a colleague. She was wonderful, wonderful woman. When she was here, she was great, did her work really well. Everybody adored her, but she was always late. And that was a bone of contention for all of the people that she worked with, and her immediate supervisors and the directors and everyone else. And I got wind of this. Great employee, everything, but the lateness was really the issue. So I called her into my office, and of course, oh boy, getting called into my office. And I sat her down and I said, listen, what's going on? What's happening in your life? And she says, went through a divorce, and now I have the kids, and the kids' school bus is later, and then I'm stuck behind the school bus, and this and that. I mean, she broke down. Like, nobody had asked her what was going on in her life. And I said, would it make a difference to you if we changed your time from 8 a.m. to 8:30, and instead of leaving at 4:30, you leave at 5? That would be great.
Wow.
And that implemented right away, and she completely different, and everybody else was happy, but nobody spoke to her. And she didn't speak up either. So it wasn't, one-sided thing. But sometimes we have to dig into what are the circumstances that are causing a fray in relationships. And sometimes it's about getting curious. I was curious what's going on in your life. I don't mean to be personal or pry, but what's going on in your life? You're great when you're here, but you're always late. Nobody had asked her. Nobody had asked her. Nobody had given her that space.
She was probably just, and she was probably just putting one foot in front of the other because of what she was going.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we never know what somebody else is going through.
And maybe, so she think of a solution, or, maybe wasn't in, like what you said, she broke down. Maybe she thought, I have to literally just get through the day, because otherwise a version of me is going to come out that I don't want everyone to see. But she felt safe in your office. So powerful. Really powerful. And I think when we share these stories, I think when people are listening, it's important, like, not to only listen, like, for the dialogue that we're having, and I'm not saying, just for entertainment, but really, really think of your own life, your own roles, the positions you are placed in, whether, you're navigating something difficult or you're on the other side of what you just explained. Even having these conversations is revealing gems for everybody, that that person could be thinking. Now, if someone comes to your mind, there's a reason why that person might have came to your mind. So maybe, be curious, like you said, be curious. And I always think it's important when I'm listening to podcasts or anything, to really, really go a little deeper with it, of what you're hearing, because I always think there's a purpose in all the things that we click on and we're interested in and we share. There's a reason why we've listened to them, and often the nugget, like what we just said, is right in front of you, and you just need to be really present enough to really hear it and receive it
and acknowledge it, and thank God's source spirit for it. That for me has been a game changer for me, is to notice the synchronicities.
Yes.
For me, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And I find myself, looking up, thank you, all day long, actually, because of the things that are put in front of me. A perfect example is, there'll be a time where I leave my house, I get into my car is an automatic start, so I don't need a set of keys, but I need keys to get into my office. And I realize, I don't have my keys. So I walk back into my house, my keys are on my island next to an umbrella. And it's going to rain today. So I grab the umbrella and grab my keys, and I say, thank you for that. Because had I not gone back into the house for my keys, I wouldn't have seen the umbrella, and therefore, just like that. But there was a reason why I'd left the keys and needed to see the umbrella. And those synchronicities are so important. And we have to acknowledge them so that we can see more of them. And we can get more of an abundance of things coming our way, because we're acknowledging it. And sometimes that involves acknowledging people. For example, my birthday was yesterday, and Facebook tells everybody that it's your birthday.
Let's not just go slow over that. Happy birthday for yesterday.
Oh, thank you. Wow. Thank you. 50 again and again and again and again and again and again.
Hold on, it was a big birthday.
No, it was 50 again and again and again and again and again.
Oh, sorry. But still, I was like, well, you look fabulous though.
Oh, you're so generous, so generous. I will say 50s are the new 30s. I feel so much better in my 50s than I did in my 30s, without a doubt. So absolutely, you come into your own in the 50s. Like you've got a lot of wisdom by this age. So don't find yourself dreading 50s. No, not at all. Embrace it, because for me, 50 again and again and again and again. So. Facebook.
And like I said to you before we started, you are absolutely glowing, and I'm not just saying that. You really are though, Vanessa. Like, you're so inspiring.
I love what I do. I love,
No, but
love, love what I do.
that's what shows is you can feel that radiance from you and that contentment. And obviously, not every day is the same, but like you can just really feel that the passion you have, and yeah, and it's important. It's important that we might have these multiple hats, but what really ignites you, and we were talking about this because like with even the startup of this, there's a difference between someone that starts it and they think that this is what they want to do, and then maybe there's no progress or they don't see as much growth as they expected, and they'll give up because they didn't really believe in what they did, I believe. Whereas I think when there's something that you are so much more passionate about than the numbers and the likes and the subscribes, and even if it's that one person that sends you that comment and they say, thank you so much, for me, that makes up, 100 likes with no comments or something. Like, of course, it's all swings and roundabouts, but I think we really need to think, like, why am I truly doing this? Because and I don't believe this, but if in 5 years' time there's no more progress, would I still be doing this? You have to be thinking about these things. Like, of course, we're always making progress, but I just think, like, I don't see an expiry to this because I really, I get to speak to incredible people like you. And this, what you said about the wisdom, this is like priceless to me. This, you can't put a price on it. These really nourishing, uplifting, high-level conversations that is continuously, infusing my mind with more greatness. So for me, it's a no-win. Like, it's a winner already,
Absolutely. Absolutely, without a doubt. And for me, I love it. Like, I've never said that about things the way that I do now. There are so many things that I just love. And and it swells. And I refer to my heart as a stitched elastic heart now, because it swells so much. When I have couples that come into my office just ready to go at it, and they leave my office holding hands, I'm so taken back by it, and it feels so good. So yes, the gurus will, have you calculate all the numbers and this and that, and you should go big and blah 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 and this and that. No. For me, it's one conversation at a time. And I know that goes against the grain of all the business. And they're like, oh, you're trading time for money and blah, 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 and this and that. No, for me, I feel it's generational. That couple that was on the brink, and after working with me and doing the work and having the willingness to go through the muck that they needed to go through, but they got through to the other side. That affects generations. That affects my community. It affects my town. It affects my community because it affects their children and their children's friends and their friends and their family. And the ripple is massive.
Absolutely.
For me.
Absolutely.
And when I think about that, that to me just absolutely warms my heart. And you're absolutely right. There are moments where I think to myself, really? Because I do give a lot of myself. When I was going through my training, I did pro bono work, only pro bono work. And I saw couples after couples and individuals after individuals. I loved the experience. And I kept it going with the support groups that I host. No charge whatsoever, completely pro bono. Come in, ask me a question, let me help you in some fashion if I can, or just giving you space to be able to talk. And I recently did one, and I announced it and everything else. And usually I have 18, 20 people, and I do it for 2 hours. I had 2 people show up. Great for them. they got me each for an hour. They loved it and whatnot. But I really, really struggled with that because I felt a little off by it, to be honest. I just did because I really want to help as many people as I can. And, advertised it and everything else. And I'm like, there's 2 people here. There's so many people hurting. And I'm offering this. Why are there only 2 people here?
Yeah.
But I put the replay up because anything that I do pro bono is recorded. It just is.
Yeah.
If I'm going to trade my time and give my time, I do need to record it. And I threw that up on my YouTube channel. Yeah, 3,000 views later, and all of the comments of, I'm sorry that, I'm sorry I wasn't there, but this is great. This is exactly what I needed to hear. That warms my heart. That reinforces what I do. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And what I've been working on recently is I've been redesigning my website. My website was a reflection of what I needed at the time. Because you have to remember, my situation's almost a decade ago. So a decade ago, there wasn't as much information about it online that you could find, and you really had to search for it. So I designed my website as that guide for exactly what I needed when I went through this. Yeah. But I needed to redesign it because it's different. Yeah. It's different now. So it's been an very interesting ride of seeing how circumstances have changed over the years. And I'm glad to do what I do.
And I think circling back to those words, brave and courage, often as well, it's not actually about the individual. It takes, first of all, to even have that conversation, as you all know, to get in that situation to start with, and for both parties as well to want to do the work, and then to put something that often many people feel a lot of guilt, shame, all these different, not very nice emotions, into the trust of someone as well. So it often, it's never, and that's just the thing, that it could have been the day, the time, whatever, but equally it could just be that I feel safe right now, but maybe there'll come a time where I'll be brave. We often think it's us. I really, because I know there's so much that you have been up to. For example, I want to know about this 100-second, sorry, make sure I say it right. Where was it? 100-second relationship reset. Talk us through that.
I'm going to touch on it with the pause. It's 100-second pause. It's a great technique that I really strongly suggest pretty much to everyone. That when someone says something to you and you feel it, you do, especially if you feel like you're getting defensive all of a sudden, pause. Just take that moment, because most arguments turn destructive because people respond when they're emotionally flooded, when just all of the emotions come at and hurt people. Yes. It just happens. We deflect, we move, we pivot, type of thing. Yeah. When all that's needed most of the time is just to pause. Because sometimes when you pause, the other person has that moment to reflect on what they just said and have an opportunity to do a take 2. Hold on a second. Let me say that again a different way. That's not what I meant. Sometimes they catch themselves, and you have to give them that opportunity to catch themselves so that they can say it again. And if they don't say it again, that silence, that pause, gives them an opportunity to kind of reflect a little bit, and then you can ask for that clarity. And I know it's a coaching technique. What I hear you saying is, but sometimes we do need to say that to someone else, not to necessarily coach them, but just for our own sanity and our clarity. And just, hey, can you say that again? I didn't quite catch that the first time. And that's okay, because sometimes when they repeat it, not only do they say it differently, but sometimes they repeat it and you get the connotation and the tone of it differently. It hits you just a little bit differently. Because sometimes it's us. Hate to say it, but sometimes it's us. Sometimes we'll go on that date.
That is so true. Because how many times, yeah, but how many times has someone reenacted you and you were like, I didn't say it like that. Or like they retell a story and you were with them and then you're like, I don't remember that happening. But it's true because also the meaning of words can mean very different to you and to me and to whoever's listening. So again, like, words alone can trigger people just by, again, how, not just how we say it, what we say and what that actually really means to the person. And in the other way round as well, of, oh, I would like you to do me more, but they're going to, well, I have been, or okay, I will, but it still might not be what you really mean that word to mean. So, what does that look like? And I think these are just really important conversations, because we assume that, we spoke about this and I asked this, I said to you about this, but I have been, but to them, they might have been.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah. And the amount of times that couples will come into my office and one of them will whip out the phone, the dreaded phone, and read a text message, a conversation via text, and they'll read it and they put all the inflection into it and all the tonality into it and everything else.
How they received it.
That's how they received it. So I'll be like, oh, okay, can I have that? And then I'll read it completely different.
Yeah.
Completely tonality, completely different and whatnot. And they're like, oh. And then I'll turn to the partner and I'm like, which one was it? And
then if it's him in that moment, he's like, yeah, no, it's how you said it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, they'll try to do that, absolutely. But it's to help understand that sometimes the written word and the verbal word are very different. And that's why podcasts have exploded in terms of listening to conversations. You and I are having a conversation and your audience can theoretically be a fly on the wall. They can actually interact as well. It's not necessarily just a monologue or a dialogue between us, but it can be a collective conversation based on the comments that come in when you watch it, when you subscribe, and have that opportunity to ask a question and say, hey, wait a second, you said something and it didn't land for me. Could you explain that a little bit more so that I understand what your meaning was? What did you mean by that? And that's a lot of the discourse that we have in today's society of being able to swipe left and swipe right and burn down the haystack, of people and whatnot. And it becomes very lonely. It does. When we dismiss based on just a few things. And I'm not talking about minimizing that. If something happens to you in a conversation that doesn't feel right and there's no clarity to it and you just, okay, that's valid. I'm not saying don't honor yourself. But if it's this little itty bitty thing, ask for that clarification, because that person might be a gem and just not know how to talk. There are a lot of people that don't know how to talk because they are so dependent on their device and the written word.
Yes.
And those of us that listen to the words, listen to the tone, listen to the clarity, listen to the pauses, where the pauses land. Have a better feeling of it. And that's really what communication comes down to, is how does it make you feel?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think that's super important, because depending on what happened to that person, what's going on in their life, how they woke up that morning, whether they had enough sleep, it could be a very different response as well. And what I've learned is, get it out of you, but that doesn't mean send it. Or, write it angrily on a piece of paper, text it, send a voice note, but to yourself. And then maybe give it an hour or however long, because if you feel like you're being reactive, and we know what that is, it's like that kind of feeling inside that just feels really tight, and you're just like, you feel like someone's, coming at you and you need to defend yourself. It's probably not the right time to respond.
Exactly.
So,
100-second pause.
Food.
You need that pause. But
absolutely.
But you still need to honor yourself. I don't want that lost in our conversation. You want to make sure that you do honor yourself. You are the most beautiful, beautiful creature. You absolutely are. And you need to honor yourself and how you're feeling. But give yourself grace. Yes. Give others grace, just a little bit. I'm not saying give a lot. Don't put yourself in harm's way. But if something happens and you kind of look to the other person, dismissing them, you don't want to be dismissed either. Sometimes it's you treat people like you want to be treated, or how they want to be treated as well. So give a little bit of leeway, just a little bit of ebb and flow. And some techniques, a lot of techniques I heard over the new year is, write down a checklist of the qualities that you're looking for in your relationships. Because there might be some relationships you have now, and I'm not necessarily talking about intimate partners, but just with the relationships that you have. Do they feel one-sided? Are you the one that always comes forth? Do you find that, you have to maintain it and keep it running? Otherwise, if you don't, it falls by the wayside. Is it one where you're drained after having a conversation with this person, and that drain that you feel is always, every single time you talk to that person? It's not a give and take. It's not a conversation. It's a monologue that happens. And you're like, is it a situation where they call you and you see their name pop up on the phone, and rather than a smile, like, oh, yay, you're like, ignore, Then you have to kind of rethink it. And you have to rethink that relationship and whether you want to continue it. Now, please don't ghost. I have such a hard time with ghosting. I just do. Just be the grown-up, use your words. Listen, I got a lot of things going on in my life. You might not hear from me for a while. That's it. It doesn't have to be a big, long explanation or anything like that. You don't have to, just kind of thing. You don't need to, put them down in any way. Every time I talk to you, you dump all over me. No, if they go within themselves and they gain that clarity and that wisdom that is so needed, everyone needs to have. They might realize, what? I wasn't quite a good friend. When they needed me, I scattered, or, when I needed them, they were always there. But every time they needed me, I didn't give them the time of day. They might come to that realization. They might. And that's okay. And it's okay if you come to that realization where you haven't quite been who you are now. You weren't like you now. You weren't like that 2 years ago. Well, you might want to pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hey, listen, I wasn't quite a good friend then. I hope that maybe I can be a good friend now. Can you, and again, this takes a lot of strength and a lot of courage. Can you tell me what I did that really irritated you? And sometimes my favorite technique in relationships and intimate partner relationships is what I refer to as walk and talk. Go for a walk. Why? Because you're standing shoulder to shoulder. You're not facing each other. Facing each other can sometimes be contentious and feel confrontational. side to side, so much easier. So much easier. And once a week, ask the question, is there something that I've done that has irritated you? Powerful question. Powerful question. Because then it opens up the opportunity to say, you know what? I did ask you to take out the garbage. And again, sometimes it's not about the garbage, but we'll start with the garbage. I asked you to take out the garbage and you didn't do it. So yeah, I found myself irritated with that. Because that irritation related to the garbage will start to snowball and become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where it's suffocating. You don't want that. You don't want that in the relationship. You want to be able to tell your partner when they have done something that irritates you on a micro level so it doesn't turn into a macro issue. Then you'll have peace in your relationship. You absolutely will, because you have created a safe container, a safe spot. We walk and talk, we have non-confrontational, and we ask the question. And again, it's not supposed to be a laundry list. It shouldn't be a laundry list. Is there something that I did this week that irritated you? Well, come to think of it, this, because then you can clean it up. And when we clean it up and we clean up all those micros, they don't stack. We don't have a stack of stuff. It's just the foundation that we now have. And that's what great relationships are built on.
Absolutely.
It's the foundation.
Absolutely. Because I think even in that example, and I think it's a really good example because it is those minor, might be niggly little things, but for example, say the other person didn't respond or the other person said yes, that's a very different outcome as well, because then you could say, well, if you didn't intend to, then you shouldn't have said you were going to. Like there's a very different outcome depending on how the other person responded. Whereas, the other person can say, well, I never said I would, but okay, so you need to communicate that to me, because and again, and I just being a very visual person and thinking about the example of what you said, I also think it's really powerful because people might think, oh, well, you could sit next to each other, but it's not, because when you think, and like, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm imagining is when you're walking, there's just you're naturally taking in the environment while talking, so there's not that awkwardness. Whereas, like, even if you were, sat somewhere and you're talking, you can then be like, well, they're not even looking and listening to me now. It just takes away that awkwardness because you're moving, you got the momentum. It isn't like you're not going to walk and just be like this at each other, because you need to be looking around in your surroundings anyway. But it's not. It makes a huge difference. And I don't know what it is, especially out in the fresh air. I always find it's very therapeutic as well.
Absolutely. So I encourage all my couples. Yes, absolutely. I encourage all my couples to do it, to have at least once a week a walk and talk. 10 minutes, that's all it is. Because again, it's non-confrontational and it's peaceful, and we keep it light to start with, and it allows for those opportunities to be able to get that clarity that you need. Because that's what relationships are really built on, is clarity. Yes, love. Absolutely love. As John Lennon said, all you need is love. I'm going to add a caveat, and clarity, and language, and deep respect. Just a couple of other things, just little things, but yes.
Well, I think
and trust. Trust is a big one.
Yeah.
But it all starts with you. All these things that we're talking about is great with relationships with others, but sometimes it's about the relationship we have with ourselves.
Yeah.
Ourselves. And you touched on it right when we started.
I was just about to say that. I'm so happy you touched on that, because
self-sabotage.
Yeah, it's so easy. We're almost in this culture of like self-love and go back to self, and is this the relationship I want, and is this and this. It's very easy then to be pointing out without realizing, by going back to yourself and being like, no, I don't want this type of friendship now, or I don't want this, or I don't want this. But again, like what you say, are you just then ghosting them? Are you just then drifting apart? Because equally, that person might not know that you're making these decisions, or again, like how you handle the decision, and it does go back to that. Would you like someone just out of the blue to maybe start treating you like that or start being like that? And I think it's so easy for us to always point out and not really want to look at the inner, like actually at us, and actually, did I text them? Did I put in the effort, or did I start making in my mind a long time ago that I really wasn't into this kind of relationship anymore, and I started slowly not contacting anymore? Because, you know, I think it's easy for us to straight away assume it's the other, but what we do, these things often unconsciously that lead up to then how we're feeling about someone as well, or how they feel about us. So
yeah, relationships and relationships with ourselves and with others, they're complex. They absolutely are. We can break it down into bite-sized pieces and have the language to be able to come forth. It becomes glorious. It does. And I know that you know, sometimes it's very time consuming, but sometimes it's simple. It's simply as simple as just saying hi. Not hey. I'm not a big fan of hey, especially in the dating realm. Hey, you know, no, you know, a little bit more than that. But with that being,
I feel like you and your husband have got some good jokes now.
Oh yeah, absolutely, without a doubt, very much so. Yeah,
I think thinking deeper into that though, because I think when we need to zoom out and think about the different audiences and people listening, and I know I harp on about this in most episodes, but it actually goes back to, if we're adults and that's kind of how we've just learned how to speak, how to listen, we are naturally, unless we are, you know, on that path of self-improvement, of, you know, wanting to improve ourselves, we're kind of stuck in that cycle, you know, whereas we kind of need to be feeding that into the younger generations through schools. We need to be modeling it. We need to be modeling, you know, and parents need to be equally, like, I do feel there's often this, like, in school and then they go home and there's no, like, often, like, I think sometimes we need to speak a little more and even just little examples or something, because otherwise it's just generational. It just keeps repeating all the patterns until it gets to a point where, you know, then they're seeing an incredible person like you or they're watching something or doing, you know, whatever, getting the insights. And do we have to keep getting to that point? Like, things, I think, you know, it's the maths, the English, the science, it's all that, and then, you know, the creative arts and all that often get dropped off. But are we really teaching the younger generation about their thoughts, their feelings, how to communicate? Because I think there could just be a little bit more we could be doing, I think.
I agree. I absolutely agree. I'm blessed to have two amazing children that I absolutely adore. They both got married last year, not to each other.
Wow.
But they both got married. They found their person, and ridiculously proud. And you have to keep in mind that they were firsthand witnesses of the devastation that betrayal caused in our marriage. And they both approached us independently of each other in different ways, but thanked us for showing them what a marriage and a relationship actually is. That it's not the fairy tale. It is not Disney, what Disney puts out there, that it is going to be hard work. And they recognized that and supported that and felt that they were walking into their marriages without the rose-colored glasses on.
Wow.
Which I had on.
What a gift.
I absolutely did when I got married, that I had the rose-colored glasses on. I did. I was convinced we had the epic love story. And yeah, when I heard those three words, ooh, boy, yeah, very, very different.
Think about that though, Vanessa. How many films have you watched where it's either very toxic relationship And then some people get into that fantasy, and we won't go into that. Or there's the literal like neighbor or whatever comes into the bakery, and they might have a little whatever. But how often do you really truly see a film that has a marriage, something happen, and they work on it? I haven't watched many like that.
No, there aren't many. It's definitely a unicorn kind of thing. I don't think it'll sell a lot of tickets, in that regard.
No, but
Yeah,
equally, we learn a lot by what we see, don't we? So I
correct.
get it, but isn't
Yes.
that interesting? It's not it like it doesn't sell. It doesn't have that like entertainment value,
No,
and I think
no,
that's a lot
they
as
want,
well, doesn't it?
yeah, no, they want to see the betrayed partner,
Yeah,
strung up by their private parts.
yeah, yeah.
That's what they're hoping for,
Like really? They go
Yes.
back together now as a happily ever after? Nah, get
Yeah.
rid.
Yeah, exactly.
Missed out the
Exactly.
trailer.
Yes, exactly. Rotten Tomatoes, 0. But speaking of shows, if I could be so bold,
Yes.
Floribus. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's on Apple TV. The actress just won Best Actress in a series. I absolutely loved it. Loved it. The main character is phenomenal in it. I'm so grateful that she won an award for it. She should win all of them, with hands down, without a doubt. But what I loved about it, and it was interesting because my husband and I watched it together, and we saw it from very different perspectives, as we always do. But the premise of the show, and I don't want to give it away. I absolutely don't want to give it away. So I want to be really cautious when I say this. But what I loved about it was the boundaries that it projected out. And it was great, great examples of it. And I've been, because I write on medium.com and I write articles, I've been drafting an article about this, and it's taking me some time, as all my articles do, because I don't use AI to write for me. I'm formulating an interesting article about this particular show and how it depicts boundaries so well. And when you commented about, the love stories that have betrayal and then live happily ever after don't sell, this particular series about boundaries, very, 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 it articulates it so perfectly. And I strongly, strongly suggest for anybody that's struggling with boundaries, that they have not been able to put those into place, or they're elastic, and kind of a lot of people kind of move through the boundaries that you set up, and you don't trust yourself with your boundaries because you don't trust other people with your boundaries either. This particular show really demonstrates it, and I strongly encourage watching it for that purpose. There are lots of other shows that I absolutely loved. And again, because I see them from a very different perspective, I can read anything. You put something in front of me and I read it, and I can have it have a slant related to relationships or related to betrayal. Give me Financial Times and I can read an article and I'm like, oh yeah, no, switch it. You give me an album. Well, there was a particular artist that came out with an album, not Taylor Swift, someone else. And I read all the titles and I'm like, oh yeah, this whole thing's about betrayal. My daughter was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, look at the titles, and I read off all the titles because I think in that direction. That's the slant that I have. It's kind of similar to the red car theory. So you drive along, blah, 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 and then suddenly you decide you want a red car. I want a red car. Suddenly you see them everywhere. It wasn't that they weren't there. It's just suddenly your mind is attuned to it. So we circle back to what you said about filling in the holes in stories. Yes, we do that as well. We fill in those holes.
Well, I was just about to say, I bet that's, yeah.
So if we can fill,
even though you've not intentionally done that, that's just like what you say, it's something you're very skilled in, you're very aware of, I can your practice very like, because often again, especially even individually or together, it must be tricky. Like through the power of storytelling, I can imagine they get a lot from that. Of I actually watched this whatever, and yeah, it's this happened and this happened without directly. Sometimes saying a hat's a hat or whatever. You know what
Exactly.
I'm trying to
Absolutely.
say.
Absolutely. Yes, I would love to see more. And again, there's a lot of quality TV on. I absolutely adore Ted Lasso. I think I've seen it 3, 4 times already, all the way through. Brilliant. Um, and the other show that I really like, again, Apple. For some reason, Apple TV seems to have captured my attention. Is Knowing, or no, Shrinking. Shrinking. Great, absolutely great series as well. So, and again, I look at them from the slant of relationships, because that's what I really care about, is the relationships that we have with ourselves and with each other.
Absolutely. Well, they're the foundation, aren't they? Like, what we're just gonna do, keep cutting people off and just be in isolation, and that there's so much self-love, and I think we need to really have that balance and be really we can almost be so harmful to ourselves with the whole self-love, and I don't tolerate this and I'm not putting up with this, but at the end of the day, it's a two-way thing, and we need to yes, still have our boundaries and our values, and we are always changing and evolving, and other people might not be at the same rate or have the same interests anymore, but I think there's always a reason why you had that friendship or that relationship, and try look for the qualities in it sometimes, instead of the I think it's so easy for us to always look for what's going wrong in all areas of our lives, and if it was a work situation or something, like treat our friendships like that and our relationships. We're in those situations where would you treat that person at work the same? Probably not, because that you're going to be in an uncomfortable situation. And I know we get to pick our friends, but I think sometimes the ones we love the most and the ones that are most close to us, we can have the harshest responses and the highest standards. And I can say that. I can own up to that myself of, something could really happen to me from someone else who I haven't built that strong relationship with, and be like, okay, I'm gonna see the wider picture here. But then sometimes when there's that person that has been consistent, or you really have that deep love for them, and they just do one little thing, you can be so harsh, even when they're not aware of it, but so harsh at them. And I've had to remind myself of that a lot. And even at these celebration times, we've just had Christmas and New Year, of like, we start focus on, instead of all the beautiful messages we received, oh well, this person didn't, I didn't hear from this person, but did you message that person? And I think again, we get into this, she didn't, he didn't, but what are you doing? And I know what you said about, are you always the first one, which you have to take into consideration as well. Are you always putting in the effort? But equally, relationships take effort. And yeah, I think you should also be questioning, do you actually really value that relationship enough, if you're willing to just, because of one maybe little thing that you've kind of made into like a, well, I'm really shocked they didn't do this, but you didn't. I think you need to question why you're finding faults in that relationship. It's like you're trying to find evidence to almost confirm that it's not a relationship you want anymore, I think. So I think it's, just very easy to point out, but ultimately we have to face our own truth, which a lot of people don't want to do.
It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to see ourselves for who we are. when we do, it allows us the opportunity to branch out, to ask for help. That's for me, you talked about bravery and courage. I think that is the bravest thing to do, is to reach out to others for help. People inherently want to be helpful. They just do. They absolutely do. And when you talked about the self-help, Simon Sinek said it best. I absolutely loved it. He gives a great example of that the self-help section of a bookstore is an abundance of books, lots and lots of books, but there's actually no section for help others. And that is true.
That just landed. That just really landed. Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
So ask for help and take from this and take from that, and what feels good, hold on to that. And not all the gurus have all the answers. Not at all. Absolutely not. There's some things that I say that don't land, some things that we talked about today that might not land. That's okay. You take what you can use and you simply just toss the rest. That's okay. I don't take offense to that. You don't take offense to that. Whatever nugget you grabbed a hold of and you were like, yeah, that I like. That technique I like. I am going to do 100-second pause. I want to see how that works and how that lands for the other person. Am I starting to get more clarity in how I feel about something that was said? And am I getting more clarity because the other person is repeating what they've said in a different way so that I feel it differently? That they're noticing my reaction or my hesitation to react, giving them an opportunity to go within themselves and realize, I didn't say that quite right. Let me do that again.
And I think we're in different seasons as well, so what might, again, in a certain season or a certain time in your life, not be really that relevant, or you might not relate to it much, could really support you. And I think that's the other reason why, when you find either a podcast or you find a book or you have a contact. So there's an abundance of contacts on here, so you're an incredible relationship coach, and much more than that. Let's just say that as well, because we are much more multi-dimensional than just one role. At some point, this incredible woman could really be someone that you want to store into your mind and remember, because we might be fine now, and it's not saying that that's going to come, but we do go through different times and changes in our life. And often, as I try to do most of my life, and I'm learning not to anymore, we can try to control and do the safe options all the time, but often the true growth and the true transformation is out of that comfort zone, and really allowing your heart to open again, allowing people in. And so I appreciate all you are doing. You're an absolute blessing, and thank you so much. And you're only just getting, every time I see you, just more and more exposure, and like what you said, which was so powerful, you didn't have this, so this is the other thing. It's incredible what you're doing on all levels, and not just betrayal, but all aspects of relationships. And betrayal, as you know, can come in so many different forms, and often we don't even know that we are feeling betrayed. So I really appreciate you and all you're doing.
This has been a great conversation. I adore you. Absolutely. I cannot wait for us to do episode 200, which will be in like 4 months, the way you're going. You're having such amazing conversations with everyone. And this has been an amazing conversation that you have just facilitated in such a beautiful way. You give so much of yourself to your audience it's so heartfelt, and you just do it effortlessly. In Yeah, it speaks volumes. It truly, truly does. So absolutely. I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing all that you're doing, because your trajectory is just massive. It absolutely is. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity for us to continue. Because you and I, the same thing. We'll, on
Yes,
socials,
yes,
we'll hit each other up and how are you doing? Oh, I see what you've done and whatnot. And then we have an opportunity to have a conversation like this recorded. Granted, we had a whole other conversation before you even hit the record button, because we can
which is
tell.
in the notes, everyone. Go watch it because it's not the same. It's so powerful. Again, like this lady, as I said, is just an absolute gem. You're a diamond, and yeah, I appreciate you so much, and I love all that you're creating, and I know you're changing so many people's lives. And as you said, it's not even just that little seed, it's rippling out, like the lady you gave the example of what was going through her life, that fed, that seeped into her work life. And if she didn't have such a compassionate person that had maybe lots of applications that week, in okay, well, let's have a conversation that's not going to be the most highest for that person, that could have gone a very different way. If we don't take the time to talk, really listen to the people, and not allow it to continue until it gets to a point where it's like disciplinary or something. Like, we need to talk, we need to speak, and we need to really know about the well-being of especially people under our care. So
Correct. And not assume. Because when we assume, as Tony Randall said,
makes that beep out of you and me.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So don't assume, don't second guess, don't think you know what your partner's thinking. Ask them to use their words. Use your words. Use your words. Congratulations on number 100.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Woo! Absolutely.
Thank you. That's a love to you always.